Hello there, Julienne, and thanks for sending this in, your international marketing essay for us to have a look at. My name's Andrew, and I work here with Ben at IELTSpodcast.com, and what we tend to do in these single essay corrections is give you some general guidance on structure, vocabulary, smoothness, flow, that sort of thing. Of course, correcting writing to a good enough standard to guarantee any sort of score in the exam requires repetition, regular corrections. So if you'd like to join us on the full course, you can visit the website that's listed in the email. But for now, let's start with some general tips against the mark scheme. So at first, obviously you're expected to introduce your topic. We don't necessarily have to mention the word topic. We can just say, or we can start with any topic sentence really, as long as it lets us know the area in which we are discussing. So we could say international marketing has become, and then we can describe it in some manner. Then we can talk about whether it's positive or negative. Then we can talk about why. So now you're expected to extract two ideas, possibly one for, possibly one against, or maybe you feel very, very strongly that globalization is good, and therefore it will be two arguments for. But the fact that you have two paragraphs here with your conclusion is good. So I strongly believe that this matter is an important issue in a country's productivity. I would say for a country's productivity, or an imperative factor in a country's productivity, or an important issue for a country's productivity. For example, to someone who is living in a developing nation, so we don't need this preposition here. Someone who is living in a developing nation may adapt an idea, or may adopt. To take on is to adopt an idea. Or you could even say, may adopt proper hygiene. That would be absolutely fine, and in academic writing, it's always good to use as few words as possible. If something can be said with fewer words, then that's good. So to be aloof refers more to someone's attitude or mentality. So it does not adequately describe how a woman is supposed to behave or does behave when she's on her period. I would not say it's accurate to say that a woman on her period is aloof, especially in an academic essay, because we're trying to be as precise as possible. We need to get our ideas across accurately. In certain cultures, I'd put here, so here I would remove this, because when you're referring to the woman having to isolate herself, then I would say, in certain cultures, it is considered best for the woman to isolate herself, and her family members would encourage her to avoid showering or bathing or washing, as she's viewed to be impure at this time. That's cool. You make a good point, but what does that mean? One paragraph is supposed to be one idea, and we introduce the idea, we expand the idea, we support the idea with an example, and then we explain the idea at the end in total. So we use everything we've said so far to tell us what it all means. What's your point? So so essentially you've got one idea being carried through over two paragraphs. But we need to express one idea in one paragraph, and then say something like, on the other hand, or conversely, and then we're discussing the other side. Or if you want to do two arguments for, then make sure it's two separate arguments and not both about sanitary products. Sanitary products can be one example, one idea. We need to pick up another one for this one. But let's just correct some grammar instead. In this mentioned scenario, it can be viewed as unhygienic and may put a woman's health at risk from physical infection and psychological and social harm. These are really good phrases. I'm not sure we need to say physical infection, because we can't have a mental infection, we can't have an ethereal infection, we can't have a ghostly infection. So we don't need the word physical. An infection is physical, so it's implied. You can just say in my opinion as well. So as you'll notice, I'm just choosing a few words that you can chop out. Yeah, so I see your argument, but I'm not sure how it relates properly to the question. So what we're talking about is foreign products being advertised in the country in question, invasive and an intrusion. So what does your conclusion say? While other people view international marketing as a form of bias or disturbance, we must admit and be open to the fact that this type of strategy is a very strong tool to use to be able to give reliable and basic information, not truth. It's not academic to refer to truth because there is no objective truth, if you can get what I mean. If we're talking like a scientist, there are only facts which change over time with evidence. So we're stating the facts as they exist today. It's a very religious thing to say the truth. We don't, in academic essays, use words like the truth to describe facts. We use facts, information, evidence. Yeah, so you've gotten quite personal. You've made this essay about you. I would have liked more explanation at the end of your paragraph to let me know, to inform me as to how the marketing particularly is invasive and intrusive, or how it's valuable. And those ideas in the paragraphs should support your viewpoint. And all information must be relevant to the question as well, must be right on point. But that's something we would cover further in multiple essay corrections. These videos tend to last around 15 minutes each because we correct 2 essays at a time. When we do this repeatedly over a number of days, you notice that we can correct lots of small grammar errors. We can give you a huge amount of information about structure and some additional language, some additional phrases. Also, if you sign up to the course in the next 24 hours, Ben has informed me I can upgrade you to the speaking part of the course absolutely free. So have a good gander at the email that this link came in, and see if you fancy joining us on this course. I hope to speak to you again soon, Julienne. See you later.